welcome to Whispering Willows. I'm Tanya, and I'm a psychic medium.
I'm Jamie, and I'm a psychotherapist.
And today we're going to be talking about living with gifts. Yeah, so we had a couple of our listeners reach out and want us to talk about this subject. Do you kind of want to tell about who reached out to you and
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I had a cousin reach out to me, and she was telling me that her 5-year-old granddaughter has gifts, clearly, because her granddaughter says that her grandpa comes to visit her bedroom at nighttime, and he's deceased. He passed away last year, and then the thing was that he was blind before he passed away, and he would tell my cousin, I want to see this little girl, I want to see her, and I bet she's so pretty, I want to see her. And then what he tells the little girl is, you're so pretty.
Yeah.
And there's some other little things, but so my cousin was kind of just asking how can we encourage her gifts and support her, because they don't want them to go away or get stifled or anything like that.
Right. And I feel like this part of it is so important because, like me, my gifts were kind of just pushed to the side and dismissed. So I kind of lost them for a little while, and then they opened back up. So I feel like with kids, especially at such a young age, it's a little hard because you know that they're not lying. Okay, they have no reason to lie. So I think that it's really important to just make sure that your children feel safe. You create a safe space for them so that they can have these discussions with you and be open, so that they don't feel no one believes them. You want them to know that you believe them and that you're there for them and that you will help them through this. And I think when I was that age, I actually wasn't scared of it. But when I got older, that's when I became scared of it, because I realized that not everybody was seeing what I was seeing. Yeah. So then I was afraid.
Yeah.
And you never want them to be afraid. Talk to them about energy and how to protect their energy field and stuff like that. I think that would be a lot, with protecting your energy and kind of shutting it down, you're able to shut it down. And I think that takes a long time to learn, because as a child, I didn't know that I could just shut it down. They were just always there. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're following me around. They're always there. When I became a teenager, it was really intense.
Yeah. And
I felt like I couldn't get away from them. But as I got older, I've developed, okay, no, you're not talking to me. Letting them know that they're in control of the situation at such a young age will help them immensely, because they're not going to be afraid, because they have nothing to be afraid of. Telling them that they can't hurt them, because when you put that into your child's mind that they can't be hurt by this, they believe it, which sets up basically a shield for them as they are protected. So at such a young age, to be able to tell them they can't hurt you, and then them to believe that, that's helping reinforce that, shield of protection from what's going on in their lives and what they're seeing. And maybe they're just hearing, maybe they're not just seeing, maybe they have all the clairs. Or also there's empaths. I had a friend come to me after we started this, and she said, I know I'm an empath. How do I live with this? What do I do? So I think that there's a lot in this episode that will help a lot of people as far as any age.
Yeah.
With the kids, I think that she wanted to know how to help develop it. I think that maybe play guessing games with them, bring it into play. Guessing games, games that I know that I did a picture inside of an envelope and try to guess what's on the picture. Just put random pictures in an envelope. Let her do that every day, and she just has to guess what's in the focus on the picture. Use your energy to focus on the picture and guess what's in the picture. And so, but I know that I've seen people describe down to a T exactly what is in the envelope, and they never knew what was in it. They drew what was in the envelope. I think also helping drawing, writing, music helps develop that because music has feeling and like you want them to be able to express their emotions, and you can do that through drawings and writing and music.
Yeah.
So I think that because they're going to be feeling a lot, especially with empaths, you're feeling a lot.
Yeah.
With me, I'm an empath plus a psychic medium, and I feel when people pass over, I feel what they felt when they pass over. Like they make me feel it. So, that can be very overwhelming, and especially for a young child, she might not be feeling that yet, but she's starting to develop and see spirit and talk to spirit. She's communicating with them already. I think a lot of validation is needed for that, just to confirm that, what is happening to you is happening to you. You don't want them to be like 40 and think that they were crazy all these years. I'm just saying, like, you don't want that. I know I definitely felt that way. I know that when my parents kind of closed my third eye, where they were just like, this isn't here. You're not seeing this. It's not real. When we moved to a new house, I didn't see or feel anything. I think that over the years, it would start kind of coming back a little bit at a time, but I would ignore it because I was just like, no. And I was always like, I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you. Now I'm okay with seeing them because it's not scary. And I understand. And I understand how to turn it off and when I need to tune in. So I think that helping them develop that, also maybe go find a local community with like-minded people. I did that when I moved to Ohio, and it was getting very overwhelming for me, and I didn't know how to control it. And they kind of taught me how to control it, things I can do to protect myself. And if your child is young, I would just say, like, join this community with them so that you could be there with them and you understand what's happening with them and what's going on with them. And I think that there's a lot of communities like that in different areas. So I think that it's something that, anybody can join, and just understand and tell them what you're looking for. Make sure that it's the right community for you.
Yeah.
And that you're getting
it's
what you need.
child friendly.
Yeah, because you want it to be like children friendly. The one that I was in, they actually had like young adults in there, and I think that she was okay with accepting children in there. I think there was probably like a girl that maybe was like 10 years old in there. So yeah, I really think that they need to be around, like, you want to normalize it as much as possible. Like, make it normal. This is your everyday. This is normal. Because I felt like I hid it for so long. Just now, probably, like, even from you guys when I first met you, like, you didn't know any of this about me, but probably within, like, the last year, I've been more open about it, and I've had even more experiences. So many things have happened to me, and just eye-opening things. And, like I said, when I do readings, I'm in shock when they're like, oh, yeah, how did you know this? And then, and I'm just over here like, oh, my gosh, that's crazy. Like, what? I'm such a skeptic of my own gift. And it's so ridiculous, but they can be overwhelmed very easily, so whenever if I go to a concert, I have to really just tune it out, because essentially you're going to feel everything that's going on around you. So say you go to a concert that's been going on all day, okay, like a festival, and half of these people are drunk and out of control, okay? So, like, you're going to be feeling all of those feelings that are around you. So, if I go to an event like that, sometimes I'll go to something like that, and then I won't come out of hiding for, like, a week. I'll be at my place, and I'll just be like, no, I can't do anything else. Because I need to relax. I need to cleanse my space and cleanse my self. And a lot of things, like, you can do that through taking a bath, taking a shower. That helps you, like, anything that's going to help you relax, ground yourself. You can take your child outside and walk them around in the grass without shoes. Get them as close to nature as possible. And what were you saying that there's like
there's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is really good for grounding for adults and children. So you use your 5 senses. And so they can go in any order, but you start at 5 and say, okay, what are 5 things that I feel? Okay, I feel my butt on the couch. I feel the couch against my back. I feel Rafiki on my lap. I feel all the things. And then go to 4 in a different sense. What are 4 things I see? What are 3 things that I hear? What are 2 things that I smell? What is 1 thing that I taste? And so it just, like, it gets you grounded in your body into, like, your physical and, like, out of your your, emotional brain.
Right. I agree. I also think that like yoga, meditation, anything that's going to focus your mind on something else, other like just trying to take everything out of your mind. And you can start children on didn't you say there was like an app?
Yeah, there's an app for meditation called Smiling Mind. And they just have like tons and tons of guided meditations in different categories. If you want to develop mindfulness, if you want to sleep better, just all different like kind of themes. But they also have like a child friendly theme. Like you can select the kids version. So that might be a good thing to practice.
Yeah, I like it's hard for me sometimes to meditate. I like a guided meditation because they're talking and I'm trying to imagine and do what they're saying to do. Yeah. That way I can just get everything out of my head.
Yeah.
And whenever I meditate like that, I have clearer visions, clearer communication with the other side. I feel more like myself when I'm like that, and you get rid of, energies that have kind of entered your field, and they're with you and they're hanging out. I mean, sometimes I have spirits hanging out in my place because I've done a reading. So maybe for a couple days, grace. But, but they don't bother me because I'm so used to it and I know how to kind of like shut it off, and I'm like, okay, you need to go, do what you need to do. So, but being an empath is really hard because sometimes you don't know if it's your feelings or someone else's feelings. And if you're in a group, so if you're somewhere, like say you're going to a party and there's 10 women there and someone's upset with you or someone's upset with someone else and you come in and you're feeling that, you feel all of it.
Yeah.
Like this person might be really happy and excited, but this person is really upset and their energy is very big. So then it comes over and you're just like, why am I feeling this way? You have no reason to feel that way. You're probably an empath.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're feeling other people's feelings. I mean, I told you about whenever I worked at the bank, the girl next to me, I was in an office. She had an office, and she would come in, and I hadn't even seen her all day, but I would know that she was in a bad mood because I could feel her energy. Her energy was so big, I could feel it through the wall. Like, she's not in a good mood. I'm not going over there, and I'm not talking to her about anything. So I would avoid. I was avoiding, so I was avoiding talking to her because I was like, she's not in a good mood, even though I haven't talked to her all day. I know she's not because I can feel it. And I think it took me a long time to develop and understand that I'm an empath and how it affects me. I have a much better understanding of it now, and I know what I need. I know that if I'm going to go to a concert, I need to do, X, Y, and Z after or before. Yeah. So that I can just kind of chill out and because I'll start, if someone's anxious, then I'm feeling anxious and I'm not an anxious person.
Yeah.
So it's just, with empaths, you go out on a date like I talked about before, and maybe this person really likes you and you think that you really like this person, but you leave the date and you're like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's because they were feeling that way towards you. So you have to learn, I think with meditation and grounding, that really helps you understand which feelings are your feelings and which feelings are someone else's feelings. So.
And I think, especially for people who identify as people pleasers, that can probably be really hard, right? Oh, this person is upset. I know that they're upset because I can feel that they're upset. So, let me fix it. Let me figure out, how to make the situation better, even though it's not your responsibility. It's not your thing to fix.
It's definitely not. I'm not a people pleaser. So it doesn't, but people, if you are a people pleaser, this would definitely overload you and overwhelm you.
Yeah.
On out to dinner with people, an example, and this woman was sitting next to me and I just felt this, when I sat next to her, I didn't know her. I sat next to her and I just felt this very I don't like you feeling towards me. I knew that, but I was I don't even know her. Why is she, being like that towards me? But I could tell that she wanted a lot of attention, but she did not like me because I was new. I was the new shiny thing. I was the new friend at the table. So everybody was very interested in me. And she didn't like that. And I could tell when I sat down next to her. But she wanted a lot of attention. So the entire dinner, I ignored her. Like, anything that she would say, like, it's not, like, it's just a thing. I think that's me as a person, because I'm just like, don't, like, come at me that you don't like me. You don't even know me.
But she doesn't know you knew she
She
like
doesn't
you.
know. Yeah, she doesn't know. She don't know me. Okay? So she don't know that I know. I know. I know. So I was just like ignoring her the whole time. And so the next day, my friend was just like, yeah, so the girl that you sat next to, like, she's really needy and da-da-da. And I was like, I already knew that, you know? And I was like, I said, I don't think she liked me. She goes, she didn't. And I was like, exactly. She goes, I thought it was so funny that you basically ignored her the whole time, you know? And I was like, I did that on purpose. Like, I don't know. It's just that I don't want, like, you have no right to, like, not like me. I haven't done anything. So it's just like, don't, you know, I can feel those things. So, like, when you walk in a room, if you're an empath, like, you feel that. You are getting all of these energies. And I mean, that can be exhausting. Sure. Especially if there's a lot of people around. So just knowing how to ground yourself, just that helps a lot. So.
What about, like, the same little girl, she is terrified of one of her dogs, like one of the dogs that lives in the house with her, and they don't know why. Do you have any thoughts on that?
They don't know why she's terrified of the dog.
Right.
I feel like it could be something in her. Does she have more? Are there more than one dog?
Yeah, there's a little one.
And the other dogs are
and
fine.
She's fine.
So it could be, like, in her, because she's so young, in her past life, she could have had an issue with a dog that was of the same stature and size of that particular dog.
That's what I was thinking.
And so she's, like, remembering, like, in her previous life, you know? So it's really, so, like, I think that little kids are so interesting. I love watching my granddaughter. We took her into, like, a store that had, like, spiritual stuff and stuff like that. And so with a spiritual store, usually they'll have, like, you know, the one side where things are all, like, positive and good and da-da-da-da. And then you have, like, this other side where you're kind of, like, doing spells and, like, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I don't usually go on that side. But my granddaughter was only 2.5. Yeah, she was probably 2. And she's walking around. And she's looking at the crystals. She has to touch all of them. Oh, this is pretty. She turns around and there's, like, this little, it's like a dog, and it's black, but it has red eyes. Like, it's like an evil looking thing. But she's 2. How would she know what it was? And as soon as she turned around and she looked at it, she goes, oh no, like that. She was, like, scared of it.
Yeah.
Like, she knew that was, like, not good and positive. You know what I mean? So I think that, you know, they know things. They definitely, like, see things and stuff like that. I've asked her questions because I'm just so interested to know, like, maybe, like, who she was in a previous life. So I kind of just will ask her questions, and she'll say to me, because now she's 4, and she'll like, now we're not going to talk about that. And I'm just like, okay. Like, maybe I hit some kind of nerve, you know, like, it'll just be something simple that I'll ask her, but I'm asking her because I feel like it was something in her past life, and it's like she knows.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, now we're not going to talk about that, you know.
The same little girl also, she has never, like, seen a sonogram take place, but her mom was getting ready to go to the doctor, and the little girl said, "It's okay, Mommy. They're just gonna, like, rub lotion on your tummy and look at the baby."
Yes.
And, like,
they know things.
Yeah.
Yes, they know things.
It's wild.
Yeah, I'm convinced that my daughter is my mom in my previous life. And I got to meet her before she passed, when I was a teenager.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's just, like, it's just so crazy because did I ever tell this story on? I haven't told this story on here.
I don't think so.
So this woman, we used to go to church, and I was probably 10, 11, 12, 13, something like that. This woman, her name was Miss Kitty, and her husband Joe, and they were elderly. And this was probably in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. And she would always bring me candy. She wouldn't bring anybody else candy. She'd bring me the Mentos, you guys, like, you know, the old people candy. But I was taking it because I love candy. I love candy. If it's got sugar in it, I mean, give it to me. So she would bring it to me, but she wouldn't bring it to anybody else. There was a ton of kids at our church, and she wouldn't bring it to me. She was fascinated by me. So she told my parents that I reminded her, she had twin daughters, and they died in a car accident. I want to say like in the 60s or something. And she told my parents that I reminded her of her daughters. So one day we went to their house. They took me over to their house, and I'm looking at pictures of the daughters, and I'm just like, I don't know, she don't look anything like me. You know what I mean? Like, but to her, she saw like my soul, like my spirit, and like who I was and how I acted. You know, in my like 12-year-old brain, I'm just like, I don't look like this girl. So she told me, she said, do you know why they call me Miss Kitty? And I said, no. And she said, well, I'm the only one in my family that has gray eyes like a cat. So they call me Miss Kitty. So let's fast forward to me having a child. Alyssa has gray eyes. Okay? Nobody else in my family has gray eyes. Alyssa's always been a mother hen to me. Like, always taking care of me. In fact, she told my mom one time when she was little, like probably 4, she said, I'm just tired of always being the mom. Aww. Like, she said that to my mom. So it's just like, yeah. So, but also, so she's always just tried to like mother hen me. She's always taking care of me. She's an amazing mom now. But then my niece, okay, she says to, when she was like 2, I think she was 2, she says to my sister-in-law, Mommy, do you remember when we died in that car accident? And like went over a bridge or something, and we died in the car accident. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes, we died in the car. I was driving, we died in the car. I'm convinced that my niece is my twin sister. She acts just like me. Oh. Like, when she was little, I remember thinking, like, I know what this kid's doing. Like, when she's sneaking around doing sneaky stuff, I'd be like, I could read her so easy. I was like, she's just like me. She does. And my brother used to say, oh, she acts like my sister. Yeah. So I'm convinced, and her and Alyssa are really close. So I'm convinced that that is my twin sister, and Alyssa was our mom. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I got to meet her before she passed. So the only thing is, like, I've asked my parents, I was like, do we know, because Alyssa was born in 99, like, do we know when Miss Kitty and Joe passed away? And it had to have been before that time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm convinced that it is. So I need to, like, go back to Kennesaw, Georgia, and, like, see what I can find. Yeah. Because nobody else in my family has gray eyes. I have green eyes, and her dad had brown eyes. So for us to have a child that has gray eyes, you know what I mean? And for her to tell me that fact, you know, when I was young, her to tell me that, and me to remember that. Like, why would I remember that? Yeah. You know? So it's just, I'm convinced. We definitely have been in other lives together, because me and my child are very close. Yeah. So, yeah. But I think that everybody, you know, kind of has something that they're dealing with, and I think that being an empath is a lot, and having these gifts can be very overwhelming, especially for like a young child. Yeah. Because she doesn't know how to use them yet. I mean, I'm still learning. You know, like, even reading other people's energy when somebody else is in a room, like, I understand that. Our friends recently went to a psychic, and they went in together, and the girl's like, oh, I can read you together. And so they were kind of like, okay. Well, she actually was trying to read the one person, but she was reading the other person. But I think she didn't understand how that works. But I have caught on to that, and, like, I understand that. Yeah. So it's like there's things that are new that are developing all the time that I'm learning. And, you know, there's not exactly, I think going to a community is going to be your best bet. Yeah. To someone that knows and understands what you're going through. So
a lot of normalizing and validating.
Normalizing and validating, yeah.
Yeah. And teaching them how to protect themselves and heal themselves. Yeah, definitely protection. So, yeah. It's really simple, actually, to just say, like, I'm protected from all of this. This is my space, and you can't enter this space. It's, like, much simpler than what you think. So... how can they explain to her, because she gets confused because she understands that Grandpa went to heaven. Mm-hmm. But then why is Grandpa in my room at night?
Well, Grandpa can come and visit anytime.
Okay.
He can come and visit. Now that he's gone to heaven, he can come and visit anytime he wants. I mean, even if you want to have a dream about Grandpa, you can say, Grandpa, let's hang out in a dream, or let's talk in a dream, or something like that. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it can be confusing. Mm-hmm. I could definitely see that. But yeah, I think it's cool, because if I want to see my grandma, I would just say, hey, Grandma, like, let's hang out. I want to talk to you. Yeah. I need your advice, because I always used to call my grandparents for advice. Mm-hmm. So I miss that, but now I can just say, hey, let's have a dream together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a dream date.
Yeah, it's like a dream date. We just kind of plan it, and they all show up. And sometimes they'll send me a dream, and they won't be in it, but then when I wake up, I'll feel their energy. Mm-hmm. And I'll know that they're there with me and that they sent me the dream, because it answers the question that I had.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yep. So if you guys have any other questions, let us know. Comment, like us, and subscribe.
Yep.
So next week, I think we're going to do a game. We're doing Never Have I Ever. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. You'll learn a little bit more about me and Jamie. And
if you have any questions that you want us to address, let us know.
Yeah. Put them in the comments, or contact us on social media. Follow us on their socials. So, yeah. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Right.
Bye. Bye.